And we are live. Hello, everyone. It's Sybil. That's my name and the name of the show. I am Sybil Wilkes, and welcome to Cameron Riley today. How are you?
Doing very well. Today I got my booster shot, the Moderna, and so far I'm hanging in there. Those of you who all have been keeping up with us for the past couple of weeks knows that my first two doses of Moderna were my side effects were pretty severe, and so I was a little apprehensive of getting the booster. But now, since I have a day job at UIC, all state of Illinois employees are required to get the vaccine. So I scooped
Mm.
up the Moderna at a CVS pharmacy. And despite some arm pain and some minor waves of nausea, I am doing just fine.
So, what time did you? What time of day did you have your booster?
I'm an early riser, so first thing in the morning, 10 a.m.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. And so you got some of your work done, and then you went to the CVS, right?
Yep. And then I went back and got my favorite, an Impossible breakfast sandwich from Starbucks. I'm sorry, I got four of them. Uh,
Wow.
yeah,
Stocking up for winter?
no, stocking up for now.
Okay, okay. Is that normal for Impossible sandwiches?
Sybil, they are just really good,
Really? Okay.
unreasonably so. And I have a mental hierarchy of all the current vegetarian slash vegan fast foods out there,
Hmm.
and the Impossible breakfast sandwich is a very close second. To,
Okay, so Cameron, I'm glad you mentioned that because from your sister, she told us that you got the KFC
I did.
faux chicken
I
bites,
got the Beyond Bites, the
the
Beyond.
Beyond bites.
Yeah,
Okay, and you like them.
they were okay. I've never been much of a chicken nugget person.
Oh, okay. You weren't a chicken nugget kid? I thought all kids were chicken nugget kids.
No, I
Wow, look at
thought you
there.
called off, Damon. What?
I
Okay, so we'll
landed
keep
at
going.
Midway, so I want to say hello to the.
Oh, you got to
Oh,
the
that's
airport.
nice. For those who can't see, Damon is checking in from Midway Airport, having just landed from where, Damon?
From Oakland. I was in San
Right.
Francisco. I had shows Sunday night,
And
and so it was a whirlwind weekend. I was in Upper Marlboro Friday, Detroit Saturday,
wow.
and San Francisco last night.
Damon, if I didn't know better, I'd say you had resumed your earlier life and you were running from the law.
I, I never ran from the law
Oh,
because they did.
you biked away from the law.
Yeah, it was a 10 speed.
Okay.
But yeah, I just want to say hey to y'all, and I've got to go get my car and go see my wife.
I
Right.
understand. I understand, sir. Priorities there, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you had. Just one more thing. Can you give us a report from the skies? How is your travel?
Oh Lord, go on my Instagram. There
Okay.
was a kid that cried for 4 hours.
Oh man.
Not a baby, somebody old enough to get the spanking, but she didn't.
Oh
She, ju-
my.
she was right in front of me.
Oh,
Go over there.
Damon.
I just posted it.
Okay. Okay. So
All
we'll
right,
check out your Instagram. I'm glad you're back and safe travels, and we'll talk to you next week.
all right. Get
Thank
back to
you.
Oh,
those faux chicken nuggets, and I don't mean four.
Look at him using his français there. All right, darling, safe travels. Thank you so much. So Cameron, you said you were never a chicken bites person,
no.
and your sister said that you really liked them, and she liked them a lot. And
Yeah.
so, I think based upon those two recommendations from Quinn, our own Ward White went and got some. And this is really funny to me. When he first went up there on Saturday afternoon, I think it was Saturday afternoon. they told him they were closed for the next 30 minutes or so. He had to come back because they only had two people working, and so they needed to
Oh,
do some
yeah.
things, cooking and stuff, to get things back on track. I guess I don't know, but that seems to be the way of the way business is being done because there are so few people filling a lot of these job positions. And so he came back and he tried them, and he was not impressed at all. He said it had very little taste. It wasn't even like the secret ingredients, the Colonel's secret ingredients, or anything. He said it was just really pretty average.
Oh, that's weird. But they probably maybe they gave him actual chicken nuggets, but the ones that
Oh, I hope not,
the
because
ones that I
he's a stringent vegan type.
oh really good
Yeah,
for you, Ward.
yeah.
The ones that I got, the breading was seasoned. I mean, they obviously taste better with your favorite dipping sauce of choice. But if you're a chicken nuggets person and you need that sensory safe texture, I say go for it. But I've
Yeah,
got
he said
my
it
own
was the taste.
hierarchy.
He
Mm,
didn't, and maybe he needs to go to the south side of Chicago. Maybe it's next to a Harold's, and so they borrowed some of that spice there
yeah.
from Harold's Chicken. But at any rate, good on you for getting the Moderna. I did. That was my vaccine too, for the two vaccines and the booster. And so, but I had a horrible night after. I went late on a Saturday, like at about 6 o'clock on Saturday, and that night I had a difficult night. But that was the only reaction I had for all three shots.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm wishing you clear sailing
Thank you.
tomorrow. Yeah,
I
and into tonight,
received that.
unless you just want the day off. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Um, let's move to what's going on in the news, my friend. And the at-home COVID test website announced that they were going to be taking orders tomorrow, but actually they launched a day early, and many of us were able to go on and quickly order our 4 individual COVID tests. And it's very simple. You go to covidtest.gov. That's covidtests.gov, and it was as I said, expected to start taking orders Wednesday, but the order free at home test button was added today, and bringing users to the USPS.com COVID test landing site to order the 4 at home free tests. And so I did, and we'll see. And this says I think it's like 7 to 12 days, something like that. You can expect it from your postal service.
Yeah, I got some text from some friends that the Postal Service is sending some out for free.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need a proof of a negative result before you go back to work, or
I don't think you're selling the negative test, but you are offering. You're saying they're the tests to get so that you can test yourself, right?
right, yeah, I'm not advocating for taking a picture of a negative result, sending it to someone, and then having them send it to their employer. That is not what I'm advocating.
The tests are expected to ship in late January. Well, here we are, almost into the final part of January, the third week anyway. And the Postal Service will only send one set of 4 free at-home coronavirus tests to valid residential addresses, and it takes no time to fill out that information. So, good luck to you. And everybody was saying, "You can order now. You can order now." And so I got a lot of those texts today. I don't know about you, Cameron, as you were standing in line to get your booster, but if folks had text you, but that is what happened as a result. So
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah.
We're going to give you an update on what's happened in the U.S. Senate today. That'll be in our discussion about the What You Need to Know newsletter. They are still on the Senate floor, if I'm not mistaken, talking, and there's a lot of consternation kind of bandied about there and being just described as such. So we'll get to that during the What You Need to Know newsletter. But this was interesting, Cam, and we talked about this in the newsletter a couple of weeks ago regarding the rollout of 5G wireless by Verizon and AT&T, and the request by airlines not to do it on the date that they had originally announced.
Right.
So they had another meeting today to extend that even further. They say the 5G wireless the people who have 5G wireless near the airports are going to possibly cause problems for these planes as they are coming in. And so several foreign airlines have canceled flights to the US over concerns about the 5G interference, despite the last minute commitment from the telecom giants Verizon and AT&T to delay the deployment of the new service near some airports. So Japan Airlines, All Nippon Airways, and Emirates Airline also said that some flights to the US will be suspended, and that affects destinations to Chicago, Boston, Dallas Fort Worth, Miami, Orlando, San Francisco, Newark, New Jersey, and Seattle. And they say service to LA, New York's JFK, and Washington, D.C. will operate as scheduled. I can't imagine that, especially around D.C., um, unless that is DC only for Dulles. But I can't imagine them going ahead with that. But the Federal Aviation Administration has warned that the 5G service could interfere with some sensitive equipment on board certain aircrafts. Such as the radio altimeters, which measure the plane's distance from the ground, and it's especially crucial for low visibility landings. And there's a lot of that, especially places like DC if you're going international. And so they're talking about safety concerns. And they had a big powwow. I think the president was involved along with the FAA, the major airline carriers, heads of those, as well as the Transportation Secretary, Buttigieg.
Yeah, what I've heard is that this new 5G frequency is so proportionally close to existing higher range frequencies that are already precipitated amongst viewfinding technology among planes that we need to give our infrastructure a little bit of time to adapt and adjust. And I know there's people out there who y'all got that 5G and y'all don't turn your phones off when the planes take off. But please do so. Yeah.
I think that only makes sense. I'm not one to turn my phone off up till now.
Sybil,
I know.
you don't turn off your
But
phone?
now that the 5G is there and they're saying that it could cause problems for the planes, I'm gonna follow the orders until otherwise. I think even after they give us the all clear, I would probably go ahead and turn my phone off. You just get Khameron. I gotta finish my Words with Friends game, and not to mention some work I may be doing on my phone. But that's what I use it for. I play Words with Friends. May do a little solitaire. Maybe I'll watch a movie, but and maybe do a little work. But I have my phone on while I'm on the plane, and so. But if this is going to cause any damage, if it's going to cause any problems, and put our security at risk, then most definitely I'm going to follow the rules. I promise, sir.
I think we're overdue for a Words with Friends showdown, Sybil.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We can do that. I have a couple of steady, opponents, and I'm always open to doing a little bit more. So that's cool.
This is a Scrabble household over here.
Oh, I bet it is.
Yeah.
I bet it is. You guys probably play Scrabble. You and the old-fashioned Scrabble. You bring out the board and everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Probably a
Dictionary on
chess
deck.
family. You don't do Chinese checkers or anything like that.
No, I wish. But yeah, I was definitely raised playing chess from my Uncle Pap.
Hmm.
And we play Monopoly and Bid Whist as well.
Oh yeah,
We don't call it
y'all really
Monopoly
go.
in this household.
What do you call it?
We call it Kill.
You call it what?
Kill.
Kill. Oh my God. Okay.
Yes, the name of the
Okay. Well, I've played it with Yolanda, and she is quite competitive. As a matter of fact, our executive producer Yolanda Starks White, but her nieces and nephew don't like to play it so much because she is so competitive. And I played it with her and without her. And with them, and they definitely like it when Aunt Sybil plays, because I'm not quite as I don't as quite as cutthroat as Aunt Londa is.
I know Yolanda doesn't taste defeat often, but if she would like to familiarize herself with it, then she can give me a
Oh,
call.
Cameron, you said nothing but a word. I can say that for her. She's willing to take you. I'm not sure about her bid whist game, but I know her spades game is pretty tight.
Okay then.
Yeah. No. A couple more things I do want to talk about. Rudy Giuliani and 3 other Trump backers who pushed for those voter fraud claims went to court and what have you. They've been subpoenaed by the January 6th investigation committee, the House committee. Had the America's former mayor headlined a new list of people subpoenaed today. The 4 individuals have advanced unsupported theories about election fraud, push efforts to overturn the election results, or in direct contact with the former president about attempts to stop counting the electoral votes. And of course, that was what they were going to try to stop on January 6th with the insurrection. They said, we expect these individuals to join the nearly 400 witnesses who have spoken with the select committee, 400 already,
Wow.
as they work to get answers for the American people. In addition to Giuliani, the subpoenas were for Trump attorney Sidney Powell. She was the woman that was often seen with Giuliani, as well as Jenna Ellis and another person. They said all work to advance the unsupported claims of election fraud. It's going to be interesting to see if they, like many of others close to the Trump heartbeat, will go ahead and follow through and adhere to those subpoenas. Especially these are lawyers, and so I'm wondering if they have as much respect for the law as or as little respect for the law as other Trump supporters have, and in denying the subpoenas. What do you think?
Yeah, we seen in the early stages of this panel that some of the ardent Trump supporters, Steve Bannon, people on the more radical side, will hold out until they file them in contempt, or slap them with like a sort of charge or a fine, turn it into some like political platform and to get a bunch of clicks and views. But the more knowledgeable people who have a future with their political careers will comply.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's interesting because did you find it interesting, or should ask, when the Trump chief of staff, who was a former member of Congress, initially cooperated with them and then backed off and said, so it's as if he may have given them as much information and then said, okay, that's all you get. And for the sake of my friendship with these so-called Republicans, this is as far as I'm going to go. I'm off at the next stop.
The Trumpeteers are clamoring for the favor of the Orange Klansmen. Cheeto.
For sure.
They are clamoring over one another for his favor because they know he's got like the Republican national keys in the pockets of the RNC. And if you stick close to him, he will protect you. Trump's the kind of guy who rewards loyalty.
Yeah.
That is very much who he is. And Rudy Giuliani, I call him Booty Bootiani.
Oh, that's a visual. I don't. Maybe because he kisses it, but I can't. I just can't. I gotta get that out. I prefer to think of him with the hair dye coming down his face than Bootiani.
Did you read that article? I think it was in the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal about like his daughter like released like an expose about what it's like being his daughter.
Yeah.
And how absolutely deplorable he is.
Yeah. He's got such an interesting past, whether it was marrying his second cousin or his cheating on his wives and his there's just so and then his relationships with his daughter as opposed to his son, who really is a chip off the old block running for governor of New York right now.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of skeevy. He just has a real just kind of want to wash your hands of all of that.
Smeagol.
Yeah. Right.
I like to remind our viewers out there that folks like Rudy Giuliani and folks like Steve Bannon subscribe to philosophies that think that they're somehow racially superior to us, yet they look like they crawled out of a sewer.
and of a marriage that is not sanctioned by law. They look like the offspring of something that's not sanctioned by the law. That's all I'm saying. Cameron, before we wrap up our topical, I do have a message for you from Yolanda. She said, for the record, she will play any game. You can make up a game with your own rules, and she will still kick ass.
Yolanda Starks White, everybody.
Yeah. So I'm just telling you what to expect.
All right. That's our
Okay.
yogi.
That's our yogi. Exactly right. All right, my friend. Let's move to the what you to what's really going on. And this is our question of the day, and it's a lighter question, and I think one that is entertainment related, which appeals to me, but also that's right up your that's in your wheelhouse right there, right up your alley. So nominations were announced today for the NAACP Image Awards. Those are
Ooh.
out. And just off the top, I want to congratulate my friends Kim Whitley and Sherry Shepard. Their podcast, Two Funny Mamas, was nominated for Lifestyle podcast, and they've got some pretty hefty competition, but we're going to help them get that NAACP Image Award, and hopefully they'll come on and promote that. It's a very funny podcast. But congratulations to them. That's just the one off the top of my head, especially for my friends that were nominated. Also, the African American Film Critics Awards are out. They announced their awards. And so, and we'll go through some of those a little bit later, perhaps in entertainment. But Cameron, my question is, what TV shows or movies or podcasts are you watching and listening to that you would like to recommend? And I'm talking new stuff. I'm not talking, going back and watching the Fresh Prince. Maybe if you're talking about you've seen the reboot or what Fresh Prince 2.0, whatever they want to call it. If you have gotten a sneak peek of that, but something that is newer, not harkening back to the good old days of television and radio. I had a interview not too long ago with a young man who was a fervent fan of the Tom Jordan Morning Show. And so he studied the YouTube reels of our shows and listening to the old shows. So I'm not talking about the old stuff. He is on his way to making syndication history. Hi, Jamal, and thanks for the great interview. But I do want to talk about those things that are fresh and new. So, Cameron, and for folks that are listening and watching, if you give us your recommendations, and Cameron, I think this is especially true for you as a playwright, and as one who is in the midst of producing a production. Can you tell us about Rise again?
Oh, sure. So I was hired by Western Illinois University to write a Black History play and direct the Black History program. Rise is about a group of students who participate in a multicultural organization called the Black Bulldogs. And they are at an impasse when their university hires or elects a new executive board member who she's a Black queer woman, but she's the CEO of Exxon Mobil, and they want to protest her swearing in, given that she takes money from a company who is notoriously responsible for the destruction of the planet. But given the nature of her identity and all the nuances associated with that, there's a bit of a rift in the group.
Yeah.
And so in their frustrations, the spirits of famous ancestors, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Fannie Lou Hamer, Sojourner Truth, Fred Hampton, and Asada Shakur pay them a visit, and they counsel them on what happens next.
And when is the play going to go up?
So we're hoping it'll go up on February 22nd.
Okay, on the campus of Western Illinois.
Yes, on Western's campus.
Okay. All right. Well, keep us apprised of that. I'm very excited for you, and your sister, who I should mention, has also been nominated as a part of the Reader newspapers collection in different categories, and for her work, She Worthy. And so we are also voting for her on a regular basis. If you go to the Chicago Reader newspaper, to the website, they will guide you to the voting there, and voting for Quinn Townsend Riley and She Worthy.
Yeah.
All right. So Cam, are you watching anything? Are you interested in anything that's on television, especially now with streaming and everything? What's on your DVR?
Yeah. So I'm laughing because this is like the worst question you
Oh,
could ask
good.
me.
Okay. All
Uh,
right. Well, good on me.
because well, it's just because I am terrible with keeping up with like the latest media. I am
Gotcha.
so
Gotcha.
bad
Okay.
at it. Usually, I'm like a couple years behind things. The latest thing that I watched was Don't Look Up.
And
Uh,
that's new, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Brand spanking new. Michael McKay, who wrote Anchorman, Step Brothers, all of those comedies
Didn't
that
he
people
also
love.
write The Big Short?
He did write The Big Short.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies a while ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
genius level writer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh,
And is he involved in Succession, or is that his writing partner that
he is involved in Succession too.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So I watched that recently. Also watched Succession recently too.
And I
One
know
of my
you
friends did.
enjoying Succession.
I watched a couple episodes of season one, and yeah, I do like it a lot. It's a comedy.
I have not watched it. I have not watched season one or gotten into season two, obviously, because I'm gonna binge. But I just for the first year, there were a few people that were talking about it. Now it's like must see TV every what is it Sunday nights on HBO maybe?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're still going strong. I think they're on like season four.
They're that far. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, show's been going on for a while. A gentleman who I went to boarding school with to St. Mark's. His name is Nick Braun. We share a birthday actually. He's on the show.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
does he play one of the kids?
He does. Yeah,
Oh.
um he plays like the removed cousin who gets kind of grandfathered in.
Oh, okay. So, for those of you who don't know, it's based on a fictional family, a media family, mogul family, and many people have attached it to the folks that own Fox, right?
Hmm.
And they're
Right.
saying it's very similar to their family,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. But it's
And
really kind of over the top. If you can imagine, even their family being over the top, right?
yeah, I would compare it to um, a satirical spin on Empire,
Okay.
though
Oh,
Empire got very satirical around season four.
yeah.
Uh,
Yes, it did.
but we're talking about black stuff. So,
Yeah.
new, uh, new black things that I have watched. That if you haven't seen it all already, check out The Harder They Fall for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that was one that was nominated for the NAACP Image Awards, a number of nominations for that, and a winner as best film of the African American Film Critics Society.
yeah,
So,
okay,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's awesome. Good for them.
Yeah. We do have suggestions. People are sending in their
Cool.
suggestions and texting us. So, Mrs. Davidson on Facebook said, I love the Play Cousins. Jackie Reed from the TJMS and Joy Reed's podcast. Read this, read that. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I'm with you, Miss. Ms. Davidson, I absolutely agree. Z Walker says Abbott Elementary and the Wonder Years.
The
Those
Wonder
are two
Years.
of my favorites. Really enjoying. I liked the Wonder Years from the very first episode. I wasn't a Wonder Years fan in the previous, but this one for sure, and has that whole Tuskegee relationship in Southern Alabama. Relationship and bringing it to life, and it's so good. It's so
Mm.
good. And Abbott Elementary, I don't know if you've seen it. It just started this month, but it is so funny.
What's
It's
it on?
it's it's on ABC.
Oh, cool.
It's on terrestrial television, broadcast TV, and it is based on the young woman who plays the lead. It's based upon her mother's story as a teacher in the public school system. I want to say it's in Philadelphia, but it has that kind of The Office feel to it. The TV
It's
show
a
The Office and
mockumentary.
Parks and Recreation, right? Has that feel to it. So it's so good, and I want to say it's Tyler James Williams plays, and he's such a great straight man, and his deadpan reactions are great, and they're priceless. So it's really good, and the great, and now I'm just losing my memory of who plays the established teacher in that. But anyway, a lot of people are watching that. I'm glad to see that. It's very
Oh,
funny.
I know something on this list.
Okay.
I did watch a Black Lady sketch show.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. Some of the sketches, I mean, are like comedic genius, but also just like super simple spins on everyday
Mm-hmm.
scenarios. So I was definitely about a Black Lady sketch show.
Yeah, and it's gotten so good.
Yeah.
It was a work in progress, and you really have to have that quirky sense of humor. The first season, but they've taken it to a whole nother
Oh, I
level.
also watched True Story and I watched Annie. Okay, so I watch things.
And I do want to mention the great Cheryl Lee Ralph is the teacher on Abbott Elementary. She plays the one that all of the younger teachers go to for advice and what have you. She is phenomenal in anything she does. But she's very good in this and in using her comedic chops in this. So did you like Annie
Oh,
live?
yeah.
I did
Yeah,
too.
it was so good. Yeah.
I got chills from that little girl that played Annie. I thought she was just incredible.
Oh, yeah, she's got a powerful voice.
Very. I mean, it's really Broadway. She's
Yeah.
she's really ready for Broadway. And I thought Taraji P. Henson did a really good job too.
Oh man, I mean, she acted very well.
Yeah.
She acted
Yeah.
very, very well.
Yeah, so I don't know how many people saw. I didn't see any ratings on that, but I really enjoyed Annie. It came on at Christmas time. Tabitha Brown was nominated again for her book this time.
Oh, okay.
Her book, which I gave several copies of for Christmas to folks, and so I love Tabitha Brown. I just love her spirit and our kind of people. Okay, so Annette Brady on Facebook, I think that was Facebook. She said, "Our kind of people." This is a show that's on Fox.
Okay.
And it has to do with folks in Massachusetts on the island, and so it's not done well in the ratings. So I'm wondering if it's going to be brought back. But Joe Morton, Papa Pope from Scandal, is one of the leads in that, and I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it, but I also like Queens. That's another favorite of mine. I'm really I was surprised myself how much I'm enjoying Queens, and that is the hip hop queens who are coming back for their second act, and with Eve and others. So it's really good. I don't know if other people are watching it. Have you seen it, Cameron? Queens on ABC?
I have not seen Queens on ABC, though I'm looking at the Image Award list and I watched This Is Us.
Mm-hmm.
Very good show.
I let go of This Is Us for a while ago.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you, because I got tired of crying every week.
Yeah.
I mean, they hit the mark every time. It is so well done. It's so well told, so well acted, written, everything. But man, I can't cry every week after watching this
Is
show.
Us doesn't tug at your heartstrings. It has your heartstrings like in a vice. It's like perpetually.
Cry, damn it, cry.
Okay.
And can I also share with you Judge Steve Harvey? Okay, James Alston on Facebook. You're enjoying Steve Harvey's new show, Judge Steve, which I believe is on Tuesday nights on ABC, a primetime show. And he's gotten in a little bit of trouble because Steve Harvey, as Steve Harvey has done all of his career, keeps it real. And they thought that he was a not politically correct enough in talking to some of the people that have appeared before his bench. But and if some lines sound a little familiar to you, we can thank J. Anthony Brown for that. I just binged a show called Love Life. It's on HBO.
Okay.
And the young man that was in the it was an NBC TV show, and I want to say it was the Greater Place or something that had to do with heaven and people being in heaven. He was the black lead in this. He is the lead in this 10 episodes of Love Life for this season. And it took me a minute to, which a lot of shows do. It took me a minute to grab onto it, but once it did, it just took me, and I found myself, nights when I couldn't sleep, going to it, and I was frustrated with his character, but then came to love him, and so it's really good. So Cameron, I highly recommend that to you if you can get a hold of it. It's on HBO Max. Women of the Movement. Have you seen that on ABC? That's
No.
on Thursday nights.
Yeah, what's that about?
Okay, so it's has to do with the murder of Emmett Till,
Okay.
and it talks about and his incredible mother, Mamie Till Mobley, and so I think that it's a 3-part series, and it's coming to the end of that, and it's really good. Really enjoying that.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out.
Right. Okay. So that is what we're watching. I appreciate your suggestions, and also keep them coming. And we can perhaps during the entertainment section talk about that a little bit more as we move to the What You Need to Know newsletter. That, of course, is our daily newsletter, Monday through Friday daily, that is. And it is absolutely free. Please go to SybilWilkes.com and sign up for the newsletter. And it is chock full of great stories. And especially, I got to tell you, Cameron, high praise came your way from my cousin Joe, who left me a message today, and he was saying how much he enjoyed the Martin Luther King salute on Monday, and he also loved the story of Brigadier General Charles McGee.
Oh.
Tell us about the Brigadier General.
Yeah, so Charles McGee just passed. A Brigadier General Charles McGee just passed away. He was 102. He was one of the distinguished Tuskegee Airmen. He flew over 400 flights successfully. He served in about 3 wars.
Yep.
And this is a man who knew from the beginning. As I mentioned in my Martin Luther King article, I said, some people achieve greatness, others choose greatness. And this is a man who chose it from the beginning. He knew that becoming a pilot as a Black man was a radical thing to do, but he fearlessly, flew himself in and out of the heart of combat into the theater of war, and recurrently went back to this military institution who previously shunned him, and continued to improve it and make a way for future Black pilots everywhere. He received his brigadier honors from the former president Donald J. Trump. But we'll take him. We will definitely take him. And at the age of 100, he could still fly.
He did on his 100th birthday, right?
Yeah. He flew. I think it was from like Virginia to Baltimore, or Virginia to Maryland. I forget the specifics where. But he took his last flight. He ascended into the gates of our Lord just recently, and he leaves behind just a very strong legacy of those that he touched and made a way for. And even though we're not military, I still salute you, sir. Thank you very much for your service.
Absolutely. Service in and out of the skies. I don't know, and I mentioned this on Erica Campbell's show. I don't know if you've seen the movie Red Tails.
I have,
the George Lucas, and I highly recommend that, telling the story of the Black pilots who flew as on the missions with white pilots as their security, if you will, on their missions in World War II. And respected the world over for their ability to provide, as pilots, to provide protection for the white pilots as they were going on missions. And as you mentioned, 3 wars. He was in World War II, he was in the Korean War, and also flew during the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And just an incredible man. 102, died in his sleep. What?
It's a way to go. Yeah.
What a way. What a way.
An incredible life lived.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't, and I got chills reading your story. So thank you very much. And my cousin Joe wanted to send his
Oh,
compliments
yeah.
to you
Thank you,
on
Joe.
that as well. And that does not come always easily. Joe is very supportive, but when he likes something, he will let you know. And so that is definitely one for the books. And I hope people will take a look at the great story. And it's One Last Flight. Tuskegee Airman ascends at age 102. So great job, Cameron. I wanted to give an update on what's going on in the United States Senate. And part of that is they were supposed to be working on a couple of things. First of all, the question of the filibuster in order to get past the filibuster and whether they would try to carve out the filibuster in order to get the voting rights bills before the Senate on the floor, and still a lot of difficulty in making any headway with Joe Manchin as well as Kirsten Sinema, two Democratic senators who say that they approve of the voting rights bills. As a matter of fact, Joe Manchin worked on one of an amended voting rights bill, and he couldn't sell it to the Republicans. But he's staying with with the whole filibuster thing for whatever reason. It has nothing to do with the Constitution. It is a rule in the Senate, but it is one that he and Kirsten Sinema are standing by. And Democrats say that they are talking about, or that at least the rumor is that they are going to primary Joe Manchin when his term is up, and if he runs for reelection.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
said, primary me if you want. I won't go nuclear. Nuclear meaning getting rid of the filibuster for this particular vote. So primary him means they're going to run a strong opponent to him in the Democratic primary.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's up until 24, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But
And also in like West Virginia,
yeah.
like they really gotta dig deep to find someone to tip them.
Well, here's the thing. They can always find somebody who may have been from West Virginia, live somewhere else, and then plant them in West Virginia now so that they'll be ready for 2024, right?
Yeah, I get that, but it's too easy to like run a smear campaign against someone. Uh, like the internet will find every single thing about you. So I would love to see him actually like, because the reason why he's doing this is because he thinks that he's comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and he thinks that when the Republicans sweep through the House, that he'll be sitting paid in the shade as their buddies. But
Right.
it's nice to hear that for once, the Democrats are showing a bit of force, showing a
For
bit of
whatever it's worth, I think it's too little too late.
yeah.
As we've said, I've used that term over and over again, but um, n- I don't think waiting till last week to really get moving on this is enough.
Especially
And
because there are hunger strikes going on.
my God. And we haven't talked about that, Cameron, but Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, God bless you, and others who have taken on this hunger strike until a voting rights bill is passed. And here we are on the doorstep of this, being shot down, if you'll pardon the expression. And folks like the great Joe Madison uh, they're not getting anything in terms of satisfaction for what they're doing, and that is starving themselves in order to do something about what they're not doing in the United States Senate.
Yeah,
And
faith leaders around the world
mhm.
are also hunger striking
Yeah,
as well.
young people, older people, you name it, they, cover so many different demographics, and as you said, around the world. So you're talking geography as well as racial identity, sexual identity, all of that. All these people are trying to fight for federal voting rights legislation,
Hmm.
and it's disturbing what is going on. But Joe Manchin said he ain't scared, and several other Democrats. It's just not just Manchin and Sinema. Others, including Mark Kelly, who just got to the Senate in
Who's decide?
2020, said that he hasn't decided about he hasn't made his final decision on the rules changes either, and he's not alone. There are several others, Democrats, who say that they haven't decided where they stand on this. I hope. I love Mark Kelly's wife. She is a former congresswoman who left her position after she was shot during an attack while she was doing a meet and greet with her citizens a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
She's Gabrielle Giffords is her name, and she and Mark Kelly had just married not too long before this happened. And I hope that she's giving him an earful and encouraging him to vote against the filibuster. And so, but that's some grown folks' business and married folks' business, and so we'll just let that go. We also talk about the coronavirus in the newsletter.
Janet Ferguson from Facebook.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. All those politicians are in it for themselves, power and money. Those folks don't care about the people, none of them. They just want their names in the books, history, letting the world know they did good or bad. And isn't that crazy? They want to, they don't care that they're known for doing bad and not doing the will of the people and doing good for others. They just want their names out there regardless. They are full of it. They're all full of it. And so that begs the question, if the president does not succeed in getting voting rights legislation done, are you still with them in the midterms? And by with them, I mean voting to elect members of Democratic members to the United States House as well as to the Senate. Are you going to try to prevent what is a normal wave in the opposite direction of the party that's in power in the White House? That historically has been the way, as President Obama has seen it and as Donald Trump saw it, and those flips there. So are you going to support? And that's the question, that we're going to be asking people. And also notice in the newsletter, we give you a countdown clock. Thank you for putting it up there, Chica and Cherie. The countdown clock is telling you how much longer we have before the November general primary election. Not primary, the November general election. And and now it's like, hundreds of days, but those days go by so quickly. And we got to keep people up to date on when the primaries are being held. All right, Khameron, we talked about the COVID tests, and they're now available at covidtest.gov. And also want to give a shout out and good well wishes to Stephen A. Smith, who was affected he got coronavirus. And he said it damn near killed him.
Oh, my goodness.
He said he nearly died from COVID-19. He had 103-degree fevers every night.
Yikes.
It included pneumonia in both his lungs, the 100-degree plus fever every night, and things got so bad, he wondered if he was going to die. Oh. He's back at work on First Take after being away to fight the virus for the past several weeks, and he spoke this week about his bout with coronavirus and revealed that it was pure hell.
Oh, man. He
said he had night sweats, fevers, headaches, and a cough. And I mean, you could have stopped it, pneumonia in both lungs, dude, and the fevers and what have you. He said doctors told him if he had not been vaccinated, he likely would have died.
There it is. What more proof do you need?
Well, apparently people do need more proof. I don't get it, Khameron, but apparently people, they want to fight this all the way. Our girl Coy Malone also reported on a story about a highway road sign. And this is an electronic sign. They just didn't go with it a magic marker. Somebody went into the system and changed the sign. And he said, honk if you hate N-words. And they spelled it out. The N-I-G-G. Yeah, they spelled it out. Honk if you hate N-words. And this is in South Carolina, in Sumter, South Carolina. And they're looking for the culprit who did this. That's just evil.
It's
just evil.
That's not a prank.
No, that's not a high school. Well, it could have been a high schooler, but somebody got into the system, right?
Yeah, that's not a prank. That's a hate crime.
It is a hate crime. And if
And
he's not charged with hate crime, then he should be.
yeah, and on a metropolitan level, you're interfering with like municipal messaging and like
Mm-hmm.
traffic violations. I mean, there's gotta be some hefty fines and some jail time. And also, like, can we just start like deporting racists?
Where do we send them to? What island of hell do we send them to if they
Uh,
are Americans?
we'll send them to like some abandoned island off the coast of Australia where they have like giant crabs and like camel spiders. That's where we'll send them to fend for themselves.
Okay, President Cameron will send the racists to
I will
a,
deport
a
every racist.
penal colony in the middle of Australia, and perhaps or off the coast of Australia, and perhaps give them a life of hell as they think about what they've done.
400 years.
Right, right. And lastly, I do want to thank CPA Katrina Kraft for her articles on a weekly basis, thinking about participating in your employer's 401k plan. Here's how it works. And for people, when you get a job and they say, "Oh, be sure to invest in the 401k plan," and you just do it. Many of us have done it and know that it's going to pay off in the end. But here's how to do it and to do it correctly.
Yeah.
And our CPA Katrina Kraft gives
And that money
information
adds
on
up. That
Yeah.
I mean, that little 5% that they'll match, you won't.
And if they
get it.
match, that's a whole nother thing, right? Right.
And that money definitely adds up. I mean, if you quit your job in 2 years, you'll be sitting on a couple hundred.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, my friend, let's move to entertainment.
All right.
And I will tell you that the Grammy Awards have announced their new date and location. If you remember, they canceled the Grammys that were going to happen at the end of January because of the ongoing pandemic. And they have announced the 64th annual Grammy Awards have been rescheduled. Now we'll broadcast live from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Sunday, April 3rd. That is on CBS, and they'll also be streaming it. And Trevor Noah, the award-winning host of The Daily Show, will return as MC, Master of Ceremonies, for the music's biggest night. And apparently, there will not be an audience. They will because they in an abundance of caution, but they say they are going to Vegas for the very first time, and they promise world-class show. And so, but we do want you to know that they have moved it, they have rescheduled, as well as have moved the show itself to Vegas for the very first time. So that is good to know.
Did you listen to or did you read Born a Crime, Sybil?
Yes. Yes, and I enjoyed it. A lot of people did not, but I'm fascinated by all of South Africa.
We enjoyed it because we're light skinned. Sybil.
Is that your take on it?
Yes.
And also, it's a book that I gave as gifts, Cameron, and now they also have a young readers edition of that.
Oh, cool.
Which is really good for young readers, hence the name. But I enjoyed it. Did you, beyond the color thing, did you enjoy the story?
Yeah, I definitely did. You get to learn a lot more about Trevor. You get to learn a lot more about apartheid South Africa, and how it was just like, Jim Crow South, but like on a massive scale.
Yeah. And how great is his mother?
Oh man,
what a woman! You got to read the book. I don't want to give anything away, but his mother is just an amazing woman, and God bless her.
Yeah, absolutely. I bring it up because Trevor Noah's obviously been doing pretty well, and he hasn't had much of a filter nowadays. So I hope that the Grammys know what they're paying for.
Oh yeah, because it's the Comedy Central is a CBS product, and so they know.
Oh, okay.
They absolutely know what they're getting with him. I just wish Kevin Hart would get a shot at some point with the Oscars or as they're called, the Academy Awards. All right, my friend, I want to thank you so much for. One more thing I did want to talk about. They have the death certificate of the late great Sidney Poitier has been released, and a number of things. A combination. His death was a combination of heart failure, Alzheimer's, dementia, and prostate cancer. According to the certificate, the 94-year-old icon died in his home in Beverly Hills, and the certificate lists his occupation as an actor. And of course, we knew that he was 70 plus years in the game as an actor and the first Black man in Hollywood to take home the Oscar for Best Actor. But that's a lot: heart failure, Alzheimer's, dementia, and prostate cancer. And
Yeah.
we will, and coming in terms of some of these award shows and the nominations and what have you, we'll continue to put those out as well. Because a lot of our friends and people that we're fans of were nominated for the NAACP Image Award, which is going to be hosted by our friend Anthony Anderson for, I think it's like the 7th time.
Oh, cool.
And this, of course, is his final year with Blackish. And that show is done very well in the awards as well. Khameron, we'll close out with our jewel of the day. And Yogi's Jewel reads as follows: to be of service to someone should be done with a gleeful heart. And I see that in you. You have a gleeful heart. You have a happy spirit of giving and doing for others. So you're already doing that, young man. So
Unless
good
my
on you.
mom asked me to find the remote.
We'll get her one of those tiles to put on the remote so that she can find it, and you can you give her the sound bar, right, for Christmas. Let's get her some tiles so she can find her lost items.
Yeah.
All right, Khameron, great job. I hope that you feel better, that you don't have any side effects from your booster, and we will check in with you later. Thanks so much, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Aloha.